Well, we're back second time around. Match day mornings, me, Jazz, away we go. Jazz, talk to me. Right, let's get back to last week, basically. West Ham, Man City. What do you make of it? Happy, sad, gutted, disheartened? Talk to me.
Yeah, no, not really. No. I mean, we didn't get a tonking, and to be fair, we haven't had a thrashing this season really. So that carried on. We were quite respectable. Good performance. Again, Fornell started ahead of Banrama, which is beginning to be a big point amongst some fans. And again, it seemed to be the right choice. He played very well and one of his best games. The only issue for me was I thought Randolph was very, very poor. I was really, really angry at him. I thought he just looks lethargic and half asleep, and he did that in the last game that he covered. And luckily, I'm not sure what game that was, Leeds or one of the other games, but luckily we didn't need him. I think it might have been Palace. We didn't need him. Like, didn't have many shots on goal, and this time you knew anything on target, he ain't going to get to it. And even the goals, his positioning was all wrong. For one of the goals, he's right on one side of the goal, couldn't get across the other side. And that was what, and I know David was getting angry, I was getting angry, and I thought we really could have got something out of the game if Fabianski had played, I feel. Some fans think I'm being harsh, but I just tell it the way I see it, mate. And no, he's not up for it.
I agree with you, partly there. Like, but with Randolph, he's just not a good goalkeeper. He's just not a good goalkeeper in my eyes. But when you're relying on a goalkeeper who's like second, third choice, near enough, like even David Martin looked like he was coming on last week. So that says it all. Do you know what I mean? What did you make of Lingard's performance last week?
He wasn't too bad. I mean, I was coming in and out of the game. I didn't see all 90 minutes of it, but every game he plays, he shows a lot of energy. He runs into good space. He makes himself available, make things happen. So I think he's along those lines.
Yeah. No, I agree, mate. I agree. I just, I think, I actually think they all played well as a team last week. I think Kafal, when you see him at the end crying on, really upset, that to me says a lot. Really, it shows you how much it means to these players at the minute. It's just this. I weren't disheartened last week, I must admit. I thought we played all right, and I just think basically. It was just they just done enough. He scored more goals than us. They didn't have play us or anything, so it's just one of them, innit? He just got to take it on the chin and move on. Is there any other things you want to discuss, Jazz? Like,
just going back to the Man City game, what shows you how well we played is some of the comments coming at the Manchester City end. I think the manager Pep was quite saying sort of good things about us. Some of the players are saying it's one of the best teams we played against. So that says it all, really. So and we haven't let ourselves down. We can count on one hand how many times perhaps we haven't shown up, and it's a long season, small squad, and we've just battled our way through. And obviously Kafal's attitude, it's amazing, isn't it, to see that at the end. It's really good. That it means same to them what it means to the fans. So it's good to see the fans and the players on the same wavelength at last, I think. So
well, I'll be honest with you, I've never seen players, especially at West Ham, crying. I've seen fans crying because of the way the team's playing. I've never seen players cry. Do you know what I mean? I've never seen. I've seen us cry because how bad our team's been before. But but it's refreshing, isn't it, though, Jazz? It's like it makes you proud to be a fan at the minute. Do you know what I mean? Like I've said it before. Like I feel very proud at the minute to be a fan of West Ham. Like whereas before I've been embarrassed sometimes to be a fan of West Ham. Like the way they've just disappointed us as a team, basically, as a club, like on and off the pitch. But I do feel proud. Like at the minute, obviously results in the week have changed that a little bit. We've gone down a few spaces, but I say it once and I say it again. 12 games to go, 12 cup finals. If we win every game, we're in the Champions League. So let's just look at it like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you make of the rumours about Abraham coming out, mate?
Yeah, that kind of got stronger from Thursday onwards, really, and the more I think about it, there's two views on Abraham. One, my feeling is he's not up to Chelsea's level, so that's point one. I think where they want to be with their clout and you know what the club is, I don't think he's up there for them. He's not quite connecting when he plays for them. He's quite wasteful, but that's Chelsea. You know, it takes a certain player to be up there with a club like that. Point two is he reminds me of the sort of Carlton Cole episode when we bought him in from Chelsea. He was a similar age. He had a very big reputation, similar build. Very good signing by Alan Pardew back in those days, and he formed a really good career for us. I see. It's interesting to me. Yeah, I think it's my I think my wife keeps ringing me forgetting what I'm doing, so she's out and about. But the point is, I think he would come to us. I think it's a good fit, especially if we get into Europe. Chelsea I think they will sell him because they need money to perhaps get someone else in, and he's no good sitting on the bench. And Lampard has spent a lot of the money, so they need to claw some of that back. I think he'll work for us, mate. I think he'll be all right. Yeah.
Right. Let me ask you this though, Jazz. Well, I asked you two questions. Right. The first question is, how much would you be prepared to spend on Abraham? And if you could answer that question first, then my second question will follow that. How much would you be prepared to spend?
Okay, I'm going to compare it with someone like Watkins, was 28 million. So I'd say 30 because of the age and things like that. I go up to 30 for him. Yeah.
So do you think that if if Chelsea said they want us to pay 35 million, would you say that is acceptable?
The thing is, he hasn't failed in the Premiership, but he hasn't done it either. He's in the middle. That's the issue. But, I mean, Championship's not a good league to judge on. But like Watkins, he absolutely cruised it, made Villa go up. I'd do 30 million plus add-ons if they wanted, I think. 35.
Right.
Our budget is 60. 20 is going to go in Lingard. 30 is going to go in Abraham. And you know the owners, that's it, isn't it? That's it then.
Right.
And then we still need a goalkeeper and things like that, really.
Now, I'm going to give you this scenario. Right, you can go and sign Abraham for 35, or you can go and get Tony from Brentford, cash plus Winston Reid, and Adam Armstrong out of Blackburn for say 15 to 20 million. What would you do? Would you rather have Abraham at 35, or would you rather have the other two?
I don't know anything about Armstrong, and I look at him. I don't know. He doesn't just doesn't look good to me. I mean, you can see a player in the way he is. I don't know about him. And Tony, I don't know nothing about Tony. I'd rather go with Abraham, who just needs a bit of guidance under David Moyes. He's got the stature. I believe more or less he can play by himself. He's not too bad. He can head it.
Yeah.
He's just a bit careless and he's finishing. That's something our backroom team can work on. I'll stick with the Abraham scenario because I believe that he is slightly above what we've got anyway at the moment. I think Antonio is 30, 31. He's got his prime. So it'd be a good investment. You could get a real sale value in the future, which the owners would look at. I'd rather spend 30 million on a really young, up-and-coming guy than a 28, 29-year-old, really. I mean, Lingard's a totally different issue. I think a little bit cheaper as well. I'll stick with Abraham, mate. I'll stick with Abraham.
I like Armstrong. I do watch a bit of the Championship, and I think he's lively. He's only 23. He can play all across the front, left, right, centre forward. Obviously, Ivan Toney, I want him at West Ham, and I think I've got a feeling that West Ham will use Winston Reid plus cash to get Toney out of Brentford. I can see that coming because Winston Reid's on loan at Brentford, and I can think I'm not sure how long he's got left on his contract, Winston Reid.
Another year, mate. I think another year. But, it's such a huge contract. Yeah. Yeah,
but if he's got another year, if we go to them, right, we'll give you 10 million plus Winston Reid. That's like they've got a centre half there, and they've got money for Toney. I can see that coming. And to me, I don't know about you, but we need bodies at the club, not just individuals, if it makes sense. Like, we're the only club in the Premier League that's only got one striker at the club. That's a ready, we've moved in from the wing. Do you know what I mean? Even Burnley have got 3 or 4 strikers. We've only got one. So I think we need more than one striker at the club. But that's my opinion on that. Do you know what I mean? But it's an hard one with Abraham because he's hit and miss with me. He's very hit and miss. But yeah, what do you make though, Jazz, of the £26 million report that Thomas Souček is a target for Barcelona? Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he has been linked with Bayern, which kind of made sense to me, being from that part of the world, roughly. Barcelona, you're going to hear a lot of stories. The amount, I mean, at least make the story look a little bit more legit, isn't it, for us to believe in it? Just put it in the bin, mate. You read it, like, what are you lot on about? Well, do you know which media outlet that came out of? Because I know there's some websites out there that are churning out this kind of crap. Recently, like I don't know what it is, Team Talk or one of the other. I don't know what they're called. No, I'm not even going to give it any time, mate. No, I'm not even going to give it any time. I thought Barcelona are at all-time low alongside Madrid. The coffers have dried up. They've wasted huge money on Hazard. Barcelona again have wasted a lot of money on a couple of players. They're all over the place, mate. So no, I'm not even going to give it any thought. If he wants to go, it's going to be 60 odd, isn't it? 60, 70, I think.
Well, basically, I said it last night on something. It's got to be at least 50 million minimum. That's the start. That's the minimum. Yeah. Like you can't where there's not many box to box midfielders about nowadays who score goals. So I just want to bring this up because Darren he always tunes in. He's from I think he's living in Thailand at the minute, but he goes, "Hello, chaps. Slightly concerned that my son told me that West Ham versus Leeds, 3 a.m. Tuesday, Thai time, will not be shown. And he asked me why is the Mike Dean show at the same venue."
Yeah, I had one of those.
Now, I've got to ask you this, Jazz. Right? Nice one, Darren. Hope you're well, mate. I've got to ask you this. What the hell is Mike Dean doing reffing our game on Monday?
I thought it was a joke again. I know it's not April Fool's Day yet. I thought that's a joke again. I can't. What is going on? And is he stupid himself to say like? And what is he going to do? I mean,
I actually don't blame him though. Actually, I blame the FA for that. I blame the FA 100% for that. Right? How can you go and put a man who it was only a month ago, Jazz? Like beginning of February, this was when Souček got sent off. Like, so it's not even a month, really. It's just 4 weeks ago. And to come in and ref our game again is like, how many officials are there in the Premier League? 20? There's got to be at least 15, 20 officials all up and down like different areas. And he's coming in and reffing our game. I don't know what you think about him.
And if you remember Keith Hackett, I don't think he ever refereed a West Ham game. Certainly not one at Upton Park ever again. And he's lucky the fans are not there. I don't think once the fans are back on, he'll never be Upton Park. I don't think so. And I thought you'd need a month off. How the hell is he that? I mean, he's already been refereeing since that game. He's back again from saying like he's got a lot of mental issues, and then he's back within a week. What the hell's changed in 7 days, mate? You know, you were going to be killed, being kidnapped, or the house was going to be lit on fire. You know, you need more time than that if you've got really serious issues. And he looked like he's back to his old self again.
Obviously, we're going to speak about the West Ham game towards the end. But do you think, though, Jazz, this is a lot of pressure on this game with regards of him and decisions? Like he has got to have like the best game of his career, like as a ref.
I think this is going to work in our favour. I'm thinking about it. I think this is going to work in our favour. I don't think he can risk sort of doing something that he's not sure about. That's against us. I think we might. Yeah. I think this might work in our favour. Having thought about it, but I'm surprised though. I don't think the Premier League have done this. It's absolutely shocking. I can't even. What do these people think about him?
Yeah, I know. Do you know what? When I heard about that, I was stunned. I was thinking to myself, how can you go and ref a game where you've made a howler?
I'm going to tell Souček to go around just walloping people.
Yeah.
See what he does with that.
It's just mad. Like, but I'll tell you what, it's gonna show on Monday. It's gonna show on Monday because he's gonna have to put in the best refereeing performance of his life. Because if he does anything wrong here, or makes another howler like he did for any reason, then I'm sorry, but he's going to be absolutely crucified. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be, isn't he? Let's be honest. Like
I mean, yeah. I'm just worried what Leeds will think of it, what their manager might instruct them to do. And I'll say it the way it is. I mean, anyone with an Argentinian background, we know what they're like. I mean, that Spurs player, Lamela, can't stand him. And he'll be telling them, make the most out of it, dive around, make life difficult for Mike. They're gonna do their bit as well. So it'll be very interesting, mate.
Yeah. I'll quickly go through a couple of the games during the week, Jazz, and then we'll get on to the fixtures today and the weekend. Man United, 0-0, yet again. What the hell was going on with United, mate?
2 0-0s, isn't it, in a row, really?
Yeah.
So I didn't see the game, mate. I didn't see any of those midweek games, to be fair. But it's like everyone can beat everyone. You look at the league tables, the top sort of 8.
Yeah.
But with me, I've got a habit of looking behind me. So where we are in the league, I'm worried about the teams below because still in my mind is 7th. We've got to get 7th, worst case scenario. So I was pretty pissed off that Tottenham playing average, like they got over the line again 1-0. I'm pissed off that Everton scraped 2 1-0 wins in a row. That's what I'm concerned about instead of looking forward at those good teams.
Yeah.
We were having a nice 6-point gap between those two teams, especially after beating Tottenham. And they've come back in. And then I think West Brom had a 95th minute equaliser. VAR ruled it out, but it looked like it was.
I'm telling you that. If the bloke's got size 8 shoes on, boots, he's onside. If he's got size 12s, he's offside. That's how close it was. Like, unbelievable. It was the right decision because he's offside, right? But it's literally margins, like the smallest amount. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't even make it up. But Tottenham got away with it. 1-0 win. Another dodgy handball. Like kicking the ball at the geezer's hand. He can't move his hand out of the way. They score a goal, gets ruled out. So it's just one of them, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Then obviously Liverpool are falling apart. They can't win a game at home for some reason. It's a mad old league, isn't it?
It's a mad old league, and what pisses me off about Liverpool is I thought they played one of their best games of the season against us, and before that and after that, they've been very average. Klopp's obviously, I love watching his interviews when they lose. He's hilarious. He kind of, he's all over the place. And Salah was taken off after 61 minutes. Wasn't happy. He was throwing his sort of kit around.
Let me ask you a few things, Jazz. Is it time for Salah to go?
I think he's been making that kind of noise in the background. And I think even Klopp said at the beginning, if he wants to go, there's no one bigger, he can go. So I think it's been known about him. And him and Mane don't seem to be connecting as well. He's 28. And Liverpool don't really have as much money as we think. I mean, if they want that Haaland guy, 80, 90 million, they're going to have to do some wheeling and dealing, aren't they? So maybe Klopp's thinking that that's why. Because he wanted Werner, but they didn't back him. He wanted Werner originally. Then they went for slightly cheaper alternatives. So I think it's a good time for Salah to go. It's a very small career. And it's always good to go abroad. You learn a lot, new culture. And it's a fantastic football club. Great country to live in, great climate, not bad league, exciting, not good as ours, but not too bad. If I was Salah, I would go. It's a small career, mate. And you could say he's been and done everything that he can at Liverpool. You know, Champions League and league. So, I would go. And I think it would make sense for Liverpool to get some money in as well, I think,
And to end it on this one, before we move on, do you think Liverpool... Right, do you think Liverpool need to start again now? Basically, like they've done well for the last few years. Do you think they need to start getting some players out, new players in, freshen it right up again? Because basically, where they've been on this roll for the last 3 years, like Champions League runners up, Champions League winners, Premier League winners. Now this year, do you think like now is time for some changes? Basically,
I think 2 things on that. One is, like Tottenham under Poch, they played a very pressing game. And you and me were watching it, and we used to say, how's it humanly possible? They look like they've got 3 extra players in the other team. They're running around like dogs, like you got the ball. So that kind of pressing game, you can only play for 1 or 2 seasons. After that, you get burnt out. So the Poch team got burnt out. The Liverpool team is burnt out at the moment. You need to freshen it up. And perhaps they've achieved a lot of things too quickly, I think. So they won the Champions League. They've been runner-up Champions League. They've won the league. Maybe, I can't remember, Charity Shield maybe as well. So I think you need to freshen it up. Get some of those late 28, 29, 27-year-old players out the door and bring some young, hungry players in. Something what David says all the time, bring hungry players in. Shake it all about. And maybe they're not as hungry. And I saw the Robertson interview. He's certainly one to keep hold of alongside Arnold. Goalkeeper's good. The centre-back's good, the one who's out at the moment. So, yeah, you need to bring about 3-4 players in.
Yeah.
And I'd think about... I'd get rid of Salah immediately and see how Mane, does he improve without Salah and bring someone else alongside him. And I think Henderson, his clock is ticking and they're looking at Rice and things like that. Milner, a club like Liverpool should not be using him anymore. Yeah, so about 3-4 players to freshen it up, mate. Yeah,
I agree, mate. I think it's time for some changes up there. Right, let's move on to the first game of the weekend. I will stick it on here because Mr. Hammer's polls have done it all for us. Nice one.
IT wizard.
No, I'm glad he has. Burnley versus Arsenal. Jazz, what do you reckon, mate?
2-1 to Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal, a very hard team to predict what's going on. So I've gone for 2-1. They seem to pull out these results out of the bag. They've got a goal in them. Burnley very tight at the back. They've done well to come out the bottom three. They look pretty comfortable now. So I think 2-1. I think a bit of class might show. Aubameyang.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in and out of the team, so I don't know what's going on with him. He pulled a hat trick out a couple of weeks ago. Lacazette, he's a good player. You know, he knows where the goal is, and you got Saka and other people. So 2-1, but Arsenal games are hard for me to predict.
Yeah, I agree with you on this one. I'm going to say, I don't think there'll be a lot of goals in this game, so I'm going to say 2-0 Arsenal. Arsenal are just unpredictable, mate. They are one unpredictable team. You know what I mean? I just look at this team on paper, and you think this team is like guaranteed to finish in the top 6 every time.
Yeah.
But they seem just to lose games and give away points like it's like Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Let's just got to say this comment. Hold a minute. Darren's writ. I can't believe more people ain't watching the pair of you. Great football discussion by a pair of football West Ham fans. I know, mate. I know. You know what I mean? We're back by popular demand. You know what I mean? But yeah. But no, like I say, I just look at this game though, Jazz, and Arsenal just like, what do you make of Arteta this year? Like, what would you say now? Where do you think Arsenal will finish now?
Arsenal will finish where they are, 10th. I don't think they're better than Villa, but they're certainly better than Leeds and other teams. So about 10th, which again is surprising. A club like that should be a lot higher up. My views on Teta, as I've mentioned to you previously, I don't like him. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's a bit stuck up in his kind of interviews, especially when we sort of undeservedly lost that game. He didn't give us any credit. The commentator goes, they played well. What do you think? He goes, no, we fully deserved it. And from that time onwards, I didn't like him. And I thought he had a lot of beginner's luck when he came in, when he won those cups 1-0, against City. His head seemed to get bigger and bigger. But now he's come down a notch, and he knows it's not as easy as he thought. So that's what I think about Arteta. He's got a lot to learn, mate. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this question, and then we'll move on to the next game. Who gets sacked first? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Arteta?
Mourinho. Mourinho.
No, keep him there. Keep him there.
Yeah,
keep Mourinho in the job.
I don't think these two are going anywhere, because Arsenal, you have to attract managers with a kind of the money, and I think the Arsenal board is quite famous for delaying their decisions for seasons. So I think they'll keep with him again, give him another shout, because I think it is his first full season. Ole is performing above what we all thought. I don't really rate him as a manager, but he seems to be doing okay. But having said that, he's only doing okay because they're chucking 90 million at every signing. So, if they gave you and me that kind of money, I think we might be okay as well. So it looks like they got Champions League sort of nailed on. So he'll carry on. But Mourinho's the one, mate, for me. He'll be out. Yeah.
Right. Right, we'll move on to the next game. This game is Aston Villa versus Wolves. Now, if you like a card bet in this game, have a bet on cards, because back when the last game played, there was send-ins off at the end, bookings galore. So yeah, this is like a feisty game, definitely.
Yeah.
This is, I'm going to say, a draw in this one. And Aston Villa ain't the same team at the minute, but they seem to be they're just the most inconsistent team I've ever seen in my life. One week they go and beat Leeds away, right, 1-0. And then during the week they go and lose against Sheffield United 1-0. So you just can't make it up. So I'm going to say a draw in this one. I think a draw is coming. I'm going to say 1-0. What do you reckon, Jez?
Yeah, I've gone for 1-0 as well. It's kind of like a derby, so there's not many goals. I think 1 goal in it last time round. Villa without Grealish have been very, very poor. Scrape to win again, like you said, against Leeds. Wolves are missing Jimenez, so they both got issues. Key players who really make the team tick. So let's go for a 1-1, I think, all shared in this one.
Yeah. What do you make of our Wolves this year? They were supposed to be looking to progress to the next level, and they've gone backwards. Where do you think has gone wrong with Wolves?
Well, Wolves, like Leicester, are one of the teams that we were looking up to, weren't we? In terms of like a level, in terms of we're bigger than them, but we were thinking of them as being really well-run clubs. That's what we should aim for. So without Jimenez and losing Jota, they've suffered, I think. So not having a big squad. Jimenez, like Antonio, is the one man up front, only striker they more or less have got, but he didn't seem to get injured a lot, and now it's kind of hit them in the bum, isn't it? So, yeah, they've missed those 2 key players and not been able to replace them, really. That's been the key, I think, yeah.
If I was having a bet on this game, I'd back quite a few people to get booked. I think there's going to be loads of bookings in this game. There was back in the last game. And I'm telling you now, this game will be feisty because they just don't get on, this team. But, I've gone for a draw. What are you going for, Jez?
I've gone for the same as you, mate, 1-1. Yeah, I think they're both about the same as each other. Yeah.
Right.
Grealish should be back, but perhaps on the bench. He's back, I've heard, in the squad.
Yeah, Mr. Bambi on ice.
Yeah.
Just don't tell Cafal, you know what I mean? But just don't tell Cafal. Right, let's move on to the next one. You got Sheffield United versus Southampton. Where do I begin with this game? Right, this is like, could Southampton get relegated, Jez?
No, because we discussed this. It's Newcastle, isn't it, we're talking about now?
Yeah.
Because if Fulham had beaten Spurs in the last game, Newcastle would have dropped into the bottom 3. But certainly on form, these two are the worst. These two are the worst. I've gone for 2-1 Southampton, purely because I think Sheffield United are very poor. Southampton are not doing well, but not bad as Sheffield United. I think Redmond's back in. Danny Ings needs to get his shooting boots back on, mate.
Yeah, I think I read a stat. That Southampton ain't won a game in like something like 12 games or 10 games or something like that. Mate, I actually think they're in trouble. I think what they've done is they've got the points early, and now they're dropping like a stone. And I think, but let's be honest, I think they're on 30 points. Fulham are only 4 points away from them. Oh no, 7 points away from them. Sorry.
7, yeah. I think they're still above Burnley and Brighton and Newcastle. They're okay, but they were second at 1 point, weren't they?
Yeah, in November they was looking at Champions League positions. Now they're looking possibly at Championship. I'm going to predict this one. I'm going to go. Let's have a think. I'm going to go for a Sheffield United win. I think Sheffield United might nick this. I don't know why. They're performing recently. They've nicked a couple of wins recently against teams. They won the other week against the team, and then they beat Villa, which is like an hard game, really. And they've gone there. I think Sheffield United are down. I'm not saying they're going to get out of it, but they're giving it a fighting go. So I'm going to say, 1-0 Sheffield United again. I think Southampton are in all sorts of trouble, and they just can't seem to win a game at the minute, or even score a goal at best. But yeah, I'm going to say 1-0 Sheffield United. Right, moving on. This is another team that I think are massively in trouble, and it's Brighton. What I saw the other week, Brighton versus Crystal Palace. Brighton had 25 shots or dangerous attacks on their goal, shots off target. Couldn't score a goal. They eventually it ends up being 1-1 into the 94th minute, and then Palace nick it 2-1. Then they had the massive debacle last week of the 2 penalties they missed at West Brom, and the goal that wasn't given was a free kick. Big game this one for Brighton, I'm afraid, but Leicester are a team that since they've lost their players, I think they're dropping. I think they will drop out the top 4. I called it a few weeks back. I think they're going to slip. So I'm going to say on this one, excuse me, I'm going to say a draw. I'm going to say a 1-1. Right. I think this has got a draw all over it, this one. What do you think, Jazz?
You're making me think now. Some of my because you've gone for Sheffield United. I went for Southampton. This one I've gone for Leicester again, and you could be right. So I've gone for 2-1 Leicester. There's certainly nowhere near the team without sort of Barnes and Maddison's creativity. Vardy's been in my fancy team, and he's done nothing last 2-3 games. Brighton are missing people like Tariq Lamptey and really poor in front of goal. What do you do in this game? Yeah, that's Leicester. I'll say 2-1 because Brighton are really poor. And Vardy might nick a penalty, or Tillemans as one of those guys might do something, or in Iheanacho. So 2-1.
What do you think?
Leicester, yeah.
Well, before we move on, what do you think of Leicester for top 4 this year? Do you think they're going to slip out?
Top 4 Leicester. Oh my God, there's 4-point gap between Everton and Leicester. Played a game more. So if we win that game in hand, we're 2 behind them. So I think, oh God, it's tight, isn't it? Leicester now. If I'm right, I think they've lost them for the rest of the season. Maddison and Barnes are not coming back.
Well, they've definitely lost Barnes for the rest of the season. I'm not sure about Maddison, but I know Barnes has gone for the season, so he's out. He's probably going to miss the Euros and all, which is a shame because I think he might have even got a chance to get on the plane, or the coach because he's in England. But yeah.
I think they're out. I think they've lost it. Then I think they'll come out of it again. Like that's what my feeling was a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I thought they would come out because it's just a mental thing as well. I'm still expecting Liverpool to get in there. You know, I'm still thinking they're going to come back. That's what I'm thinking. That Liverpool will somehow get there with Chelsea. You know the way it is. The big teams always get in there, don't they? So you might end up with the 2 Manchester clubs, Liverpool, Chelsea, or maybe one surprise to break. I don't know.
Yeah.
They just seem to pull themselves out the line, but
I think Leicester will fall out. I think they're going to run out of steam. They've got FA Cup and all. You know what I mean? They can't do it all, basically. And I think they're just running out of time and players, really.
Europa as well, they're still in Europa, aren't they? I think.
No, they're out the Europa. They lost against Slavia, didn't they? Yeah, they're out. They lost it. Yeah, so they're out of that, and they've got the FA Cup coming up. Okay. I'm not sure they've got. I think they've got Chelsea. I think if I'm right, but yeah, I think Leicester have fallen out. Right, let's move on to this one. Big relegation clash coming up now. West Brom versus Newcastle. Jazz, talk to me.
1-0 West Brom. 1-0. Sam has really tightened up the defence. If you look at their last 5-6 games, they don't concede sort of big goals anymore. Newcastle like West Ham, they're kind of in and out the papers. And I was mentioning you last time that Steve Bruce is protected by the press, and he's had a go at one of the players. It's all gone to the media, and then he had a big statement yesterday, and he's like, "I want to know who it is and who's put it out there. I do know who the mole is," and so he couldn't take it. He's on one of the worst runs of his management. They backed him in the summer. You can't say the owner didn't. None of the signings have worked out. Wilson's injured again. We all know he's injury prone. It's not look good for them, mate. It's only a matter of time, I think. But I think it's too late to change now with the manager. They should have done it in December. West Brom, Big Sam, he's got them organised, and they're doing all right. They're full of, I wouldn't say full of confidence, but I think they believe in themselves more than perhaps Newcastle do. So 1-0 West Brom, I think, at home. I think they'll scrape it. Yeah.
This is an hard one for me. Newcastle have to win this game. Basically, they have to beat these teams if they're going to stay up. I'm going to say Newcastle to win this game. I don't know why I'm saying it. I must be mad, but I'm going to say that Newcastle might nick it, maybe 2-1 or something like that. They have to win if they're going to stay in the Premier League. This is their cup final at the minute. They've got to beat the West Broms, the Sheffield Uniteds, and all them sort of around them. And if they don't do that, then they will go down. Because I actually think if Fulham get level 1 points with them, Fulham will stay up. So yeah, I'm going to say 2-1 Newcastle. They're in a lot of grief, Jazz, aren't they? They're in a lot of trouble.
The goal difference is far worse than Fulham's as well, and
Yeah.
Brighton's goal difference is good. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is the problem. I think as soon as Fulham get level with them, I think it's more about Fulham than it is about Newcastle. I think if Fulham get level, Fulham stay up. If Newcastle, this is a big game for Newcastle, and I think they might just turn up. They seem, and they're away from home, so West Brom will come on to them, so they're going to try and play counter-attack. So yeah, I'm going to say 2-1 Newcastle.
I think it's a mental mindset. You know, when you've been there at the bottom all season, you're used to it. But when you're Newcastle and you see someone right behind you, even like when we're running, you're going to get nervous because you're not used to it. You're always thinking, I'm too good to stay up. And it's happened to us a couple of times in our history where we thought we're too good. That could be Newcastle's scenario. It could be like the Canyon season where Newcastle on paper at the beginning, they beat us and we thought, wow, they look good, you know? And just gone downhill. And West Brom, they know what they need to do, and Fulham as well.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I totally agree. Talk to me, Jazz. Liverpool versus Fulham. Big game for both clubs at the minute. Liverpool can't win at home, and Fulham need a win. So
surely not another defeat, because I think Liverpool broke the record with 5-6 losses at home on the spin, and I've just gone for 2-0 Liverpool, mate. Yeah, I just think, can it really get that bad? And Fulham, for whatever you say, like West Brom, they can't score goals. You know, they're their own worst enemy. All the games you watch of Fulham, they should have more or less done better than what they've done because they can't score, even against us. So I'm going for 2-0 Liverpool, thinking it can't carry on, surely, with those players that they've got. 2-0, mate, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree there, 2-0, same scoreline. I think Fulham, this is a free hit for Fulham. Basically, they have to, if they're going to stay up yet again, they're going to have to turn up in this game. I think this game, they won't stay up on this game. It'll be the other games around them, like the Newcastles, the Sheffield Uniteds, etc. So, I'm going to say Liverpool 2-0. They need a win. If they don't win this game, if Klopp don't win this game, then I think Liverpool are in a lot more trouble than we all think. But I'm going to say a 2-0 Liverpool win there.
Yeah.
Right, London derby.
Yeah.
London derby. Tottenham versus Palace. Mourinho against Hodgson.
Two of the most exciting managers at the moment. Yeah. Talking about poor clubs, I mean, Palace have been poor, haven't they? I mean, especially if Zaha's not playing, they're pretty dour. Eze's okay. Yeah. Apart from that, I think it's coming to the end for Hodgson. He's 74, I think. So he's probably going to retire in the summer. 2-1 Tottenham, I'm saying. Again, like Liverpool, Tottenham are way producing below. But when you got Harry Kane in your team, Son, and they're playing even a bit more attacking players. Like Ali came into the team, Bale's back in now. So I think they're going to have too much for Palace. Hate to say it, but 2-1 Spurs for me, mate. Yeah. I'm gonna
go 3-0 Spurs. Yeah, I think Spurs will roll Palace quite comfortably in this game. I think they're starting to realise now that you can't keep playing defensive players all the time because you ain't going to score goals. So they've sort of worked out that you play attacking players, you score goals, you win games. So, and I think what it is, going back to us quickly, we played them at the right time because I think if we would have played them another game or two down the road a bit, it would have been a lot harder for us to nick a win off them. Do you know what I mean? But I'm going to say 3-0 Spurs. And I think it'll be comfortable, mate. I think Palace, I think they've already got the deck chairs out and they're ready to sort of go on holiday. You know what I mean? When everything reopens.
Well, they were one of the clubs after lockdown. They had the worst. I think they didn't even do anything. Luckily, they did something at the beginning of the season. They stayed up. And I just want your... what you think about Eric Dyer? I think he's one of the worst defenders in the Premier League. I don't know what his love affair with Mourinho is. He's dreadful, mate.
I do not rate the man whatsoever. I think he's only if he plays for Burnley, does he play for England? The answer to that is no. And I'll tell you what, I use this as a quick example before we move on. Eric Dyer plays for Spurs. He plays for England. Nick Pope plays for Burnley, and he's not England's number one. And I think he's England's best goalkeeper by a country mile, over Pickford, all day long. And I don't even know the other. Oh, hell, Henderson. But Henderson don't play. So, You know what I mean? So you've got to, I look at it that Nick Pope is like, there's a lot of favouritism towards the clubs. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, sorry, but I think like Eric Dyer, mate, I can name multiple players who are better than him defensively. You know what I mean? Michael Keane at Everton's better than him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I agree with that, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely. No. Don't rate the man whatsoever. I think when you're relying on him, then you've got problems.
Well, my son reminded me what it might be. He came from the Sporting Lisbon Academy, so he's fluent in Portuguese. Yeah. So there might be a bit of friendship there going on. Yeah. And he wanted to bring him to Man United, if you remember. Yeah.
Manchester derby time. What do you reckon, Jazz?
Juicy, mate. Yeah, looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
The run City are on, and I know it was 0-0 in the last game between them. I'm going for 2-1 City. The machine will carry on. The only thing I'm worried about in City, going back to sort of following them in fantasy football and all that, is Gundogan's performances have kind of tapered a bit. And I'm just thinking, because Bruyne's fit now, maybe they'll push Gundogan back defensively again. And when Bruyne wasn't there, he really pushed forward and did really well. But I think 2-1 City. United are coming on the back of 2 0-0s back-to-back. So they're not looking too clever up front. When Cavani's not there, they don't look too clever. Rashford, again, for me, underperforming. He's got much more talent than what he's showing. I think City 2-1 at home, mate. Yeah, go scrape over the line, I think. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest here. I think this is a game for Man United. If Man United can't get up for this game and stop Man City's record, then there's something drastically wrong. There is something definitely wrong with football and the way football is in the 21st century. I think Man United won't want to lose this game. City will definitely want to win this game. So I'm going to go straight down the line and say another draw, I'm afraid. I think either City, it's either going to go one or two ways. Either City turn up and roll Man United quite comfortably, or it's just going to be like a boring draw. So, but I'm going to go with a boring draw. Man United won't want to lose this game.
Yeah, I'll see that.
If they're going to try and stop City's 21 wins, I think it'd be if they win that game, or 22 wins or something. It's that mad. But I'll go for a draw. I'll go for a 1-1.
It could be 0-0, couldn't it? It could be 0-0 again. Yeah,
it could be. I think they could shut up shop. I think they're going to try and hit City on the break. So before we move on, I'm very shocked at United. United were top of the league back in January, beginning part of January, and for some mad reason they've just fell away, and just City have kept on winning, and Man United haven't. Have drew so many games 0-0 this season against the big clubs, like top six, right? And I think they've only scored, if I've got this right, they've only scored one goal against the top six clubs, and that was Spurs at home, and they lost 6-1. Every other game they've either lost. They lost against Arsenal 1-0. They drew with 0-0 Chelsea home and away. The Liverpool game they drew 0-0. The Man City home game they drew 0-0. So they've lost if you're going to go for the league, you've got to be able to score against the big six, and they just don't seem to do it. Do you know what I mean? So,
no, they're not really up for it. You'd rather get 0-0s against the top six. That's the way he's thinking. Going back to Eric Dyer, mate, I don't rate Harry Maguire either. I don't like him either, mate. I don't rate him either, even though they look good in the back. I've got a lot of time for Shaw. Controversially, I do think Shaw's a half-decent player, mate. I know he looks like he's had a couple of pucker pies before every game, but he does bomb up and down all the time. I think, again, going back to Liverpool, I don't like wingers playing up front. Rashford up front. Just play him up front if you're going to. Don't put him on the wing. Martial, I've got a lot of time for that guy, but he just hasn't hit his potential. I don't know why. The guy's got pace to burn. He's got good upper body strength. He's got everything in his game, but he just doesn't reach his potential, mate. Cavani, with his guile, his experience, and his brain looks good because he's a proper striker. If you're going to play a proper striker, and then you'll get the benefits of it. That's it. Perhaps clubs like, I know Salah's a good finisher, and Mane. I think Mane is more of a striker than Salah. And Kane, you get the benefit of playing a proper striker up front. So it's a mixed bunch with United. His defense looks good. Up front, they don't look like scoring, mate. Just not on it. So maybe they need like a Michael Owen, Defoe type up front. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're after Haaland, don't they? Now, if they go and whoever gets Haaland wins the league, in my opinion, because I think he's just class. That kid, 20 years old, and he's just class. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Chelsea versus Everton.
Well, Chelsea got the same problem that United. Chelsea haven't got a striker either. They got all these Ian Bishop, John Moncur type skillful players, and Werner's on the wing. They got nothing up front. I mean, I know. Okay, going back to Abraham, he doesn't play regularly, and he doesn't seem to fit in either. So they need like a Defoe type up front, that all the attacking players can connect him under. So Chelsea 2-1 I've gone for again. I don't think Everton are on it, mate. I know they've won their last 2 games, but they've scraped 2-1 nils. Lewin is not looking as sharp as he did at the beginning. Yeah. I think Rodriguez is in and out injury. Alan is in and out. The goalkeeper situation's up in the air. Again, the defense is dodgy. So Chelsea under the new manager looked really good, really tight. He knows what he's doing, where Lampard looked a little bit naive and inexperienced in terms of tactics. This guy knows what he's doing, and he knows how to handle people. He chucked Chilwell out the team, but then he said, listen, I'm picking a different team for every game. They all know they'll be back in. It's nothing personal. So 2-1 Chelsea for me, purely because they're looking in good shape now. And Everton struggling a bit for me, yeah.
I am going to go for what I want to happen rather than what I predict to happen. I'm going to go for a draw. Okay. Top 4 clash. I'm hoping it's a draw. So they both one don't go clearer than the other, and we can be in touching distance. But I think it will be a draw, though. I don't know why. I just fancy a draw in this game. I think Everton will set up solid. Everton beat Chelsea in the reverse fixture back in December. They played really well. And I think Chelsea ain't that team of old anymore to go and blast teams out. They nick games 1-0, 2-0 now. So I'm going to say a draw on this one. I think Everton's an hard game. I think Everton, they might have an eye on the FA Cup and all. So I don't know. I'm going to say a draw on this one. Right, we've got here, Jazz. It's the clash of the weekend. This game used to be a classic back in the 90s and early noughties. Like Leeds, West Ham versus Leeds, Jazz.
This used to be juicy off the ground and underground, mate. So I went to one in 1989 when we went down with them, and they came up with a brand new team under Howard Wilkinson with Sharp and Batty and Chapman, and they totally undone us. They kept passing the ball back to the goalkeeper when he could back then. They beat us 1-0. Vinnie Jones goal, dirty little team they were. He done Tony Gale's ankle in. I think he didn't play for many months. So for this one, I'm going to go for a similar result. The last time round, I'm going for 3-1 to the Hammers, mate. 3-1. We'll beat them 3-1. Yeah. I think we're looking good. Lingard, Antonio's getting stronger every game. Lingard will be on it. He'll grab a couple. Fornells or Benrahma. We'll open them up, mate, because Leeds don't care about the back. They just bomb up front, don't they, and leave gaps at the back. They'll get 1. We'll get 3-1, mate. Yeah. What do you reckon the system will be, though, Jazz? Go with. Do you go 4-2-3-1 system, or do you might change it up 4-3-3, maybe flood the midfield? Because what it is with Leeds, they play like a 4-1-4-1 system. They don't really play with 2 defensive midfielders. They only play with 1. I think with Calvin Phillips not there at the minute, not sure if he's injured still, he's a big loss to them. So what do you reckon on the system? If I'm right, we played the wing backs the last time round, and we had Fredericks playing in that game. I can't remember now. I think he was brought in for this game. I can't remember, but it was. But I think a 4-2-3-1, mate, for this one. I think you stick with that. 4-2-3-1. I think we'll do with Lingard having the ability to play behind Antonio or join him, and kind of roam around, and then Fornells will probably get the nod, mate. We all know that. Bowen, but you never know. Bowen might be dropped into the Benrahma. You never know. Benrahma and Fornells might play together, and then Souček and Rice. Yeah.
Do you think the form of Fornells is the reason why Benrahma's sitting out? Because I've had this tell me if you think I'm wrong or right or wrong here. I look at Fornals. I look at him as a number 10. Right, good player, hard working, but he don't score many goals. That's the only downfall with him. Now, when I look at Ben Rama, Bowen, Lingard, Antonio, that is a frightening front four. Like Ben Rama one side, Bowen the other, Lingard as the 10, Antonio. Do you think it's because of Fornals' form, the reason why Ben Rama's sitting out?
I wouldn't say that, because every time Ben Rama's come on, he's been okay. You know, he's a traditionally West Ham player, one touch, skillful. That's a West Ham player down the history. Fornals is more of a Jeff Pike type, box to box, get your arm sleeves up. So I think it's difficult. I know he can run around a bit more, but Ben Rama's still quite young to the league, and I think you'll find in the summer he'll go to the gym, he'll build himself up a bit more and come back even better. I think there's not much between the two. I think obviously Fornals has had more match time under Moyes. Moyes knows him a bit better. But Ben Rama, he feels, is better coming on in the second half to open when teams are tired and he can open them up. But for me, he brings Ben Rama on too late. 79, 80th minute. I think that's not fair on him. Bring him on 70 at least. I don't think there's much in there. I don't think there's anything personal going on. It's just his mindset is just, he just believes that Fornals is going to be more solid, I think. A bit more solid, a bit more hardworking. But for me, as fans, we want to see skill over hard work. It's just our mindset. The manager looks at it differently. There's not much in there. For me, I'd love to see Ben Rama start every game, because visually he's so good to watch. He opens teams up. He can assist with a flick between the legs of the defender, set someone up. Fornals, for us, he frustrates us in front of goal a lot. But after the performance last week, I can't see him not starting, mate. But for me, I don't see anything wrong. I think Ben Rama's slightly better than Fornals. Fornals does frustrate me a lot. But as soon as we have a go at Fornals, he picks him and he has a half-decent game. And we're thinking, I know what we're not manager. So you can't have a go at David either the way we're doing it. So whatever he's doing is working. But I like Ben Rama slightly more than Fornals. Yeah.
Like people all say, like the Ben Rama club, the Fornals club. I'm in the Ben Rama camp all day long. I think he brings more to the table. Like, let's be honest here. There's games this season where he's assisted people, like Antonio being one of them. He could have scored 4 goals at Palace, and they would have all been assisted by Ben Rama. And if we have a proven proper striker at the club, Ben Rama's getting you assists. Like, people say, "Oh, he hasn't scored yet," but sometimes you ain't got to score to be influencing the game. Do you know what I mean? If you're assisting people who can score, then who cares? Do you know what I mean? I don't care if Ben Rama don't score a goal all season, but if he assists his 10 goals or 15 goals in the season, then I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. I just I think Ben Rama needs to play. Really, I like Ben Rama, and I'm going to predict the same as you, mate, on this game, 3-1. I think 3-1. What you've said I think what you've said is bang on. I think Leeds will come on to us. We will counter a few times, and we need pace on the break against these, because Leeds don't stop running, and we outrun them back at Ellen Road back in December. And I think I'm going to go 3-1 with that.
Actually, I don't know. On YouTube, there's a training ground video that's come on, isn't it, from about a week ago, fortnight ago. These two chaps who visit, and you could see the skill of Ben Rama, Fornals, and Lanzini with the 3, and some of the flicks, some of the things they do with the tennis balls, and it's really impressive, mate. I mean, it's worth watching. Yeah, and it really.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, that was quite impressive, I must admit. But before we end the show, Jazz, it's come out this week about 60 million transfer budget. Like they're going to sell a few players, and they're going to give the GSB are going to give Moyes 60 million, all that money to spend on players. First of all, I'm going to ask you this: is it enough? And second of all, how many players do you think we need?
I think the first question is, you better spend it, Dave. I'm going to kill you. You better spend it. Do you know what I mean? I think, right, let's start off with the 60. And then the first thing I look at is who we need to get rid of to top that up even further. So people like Yarmolenko and Anderson. Balbuena looks like he's on the way out. I don't know why. Maybe they got someone younger to come in. I don't know. So that's 3-4 players straight away. What was the first question, mate? I forgot. Bloody hell. What was your question again? Who are we going to buy?
Basically, 60 million. Is it enough? And who do we think we need to spend money on?
I think that's a good amount, because I think the first 11 is good, isn't it? So the first 11 is good, but having considered that, I think it's all right. I think if we were really struggling and we had really half a bad team, maybe not. But I think we need to add at least three quality players, and I think 60 million plus hopefully get rid of 2-3 off the payroll. It's not bad. It's not bad. I think if we find bargains like we have been doing, I'm sure we will look for those players. I just hope the club have done their back work. In the back office, they've been scouting like mad. And what frustrates me is when that window opens, I want us to just nail these players in the first couple of weeks. Stop dilling and dallying, and just frustrates the crap out of me. It's a couple of month window. If you can't even have that excuse anymore. And stop waiting to get someone slightly cheaper and going to because then the management haven't got time to work with the player. The earlier you get them in, the more. I love the way Man City and Chelsea or Liverpool. I know they got more money than us, but even Leicester, they don't fuck about, mate. Get in there, get the player done, and work with it. So I think it's a good, decent sum, purely because I think the manager is not wasteful. He'll find bargains, and also I think we've got a half decent team to start off with, mate. So 20
What do you make of?
Yeah.
What do you make of the comment, Jazz, that Hammers Poles is saying here? Lingard and Dawson combined 30 mil. Right, I wish it was £30 because we'd be great, but he actually means 30 mil. Like,
put a K on there, mate. At the end, yeah.
So we're going to do nearly enough half our budget on two players straight away, sort of thing.
I don't mind that. Half a budget on two.
Yeah.
It's two quality players, mate. Lingard's good. Dawson. But we don't know. I think it'd be slightly less than that, I've got a feeling. It'd be slightly less than that. But yeah, that's a good ballpark figure. I don't mind because we bring in two people through the door who we know and we can trust. The more important thing for you and me here is don't waste any money like in the past, Because I don't think you should look at the amount. You should look at being wasteful. Look under Pellegrini. The numbers look big. We were so happy. But look what we got at the end of it, Let's look at more of these 15, 20 million good players instead of the 40, 50 who might not be so well suited to us. So I don't mind, mate, because 30 is gone. Anderson and Yamo, we got to get at least 10 for them. We're looking at worst case scenario.
Well, basically, between 10 and 15 million for the pair would be great. Do you know what I mean?
So that's back to 45 again, isn't it? So we got 45 now. Let's spend that on the striker. Is it going to be 30 on Abrahams? Then you got 15 for the goalkeeper situation, and then slightly cheaper as a backup for Rice. And then it's looking better already, isn't it? So
yeah, I know what you're saying. I actually think. Excuse me. I don't think it's enough money, mate. In my eyes, I think 60 million doesn't really get you. Like, fair enough, we go and buy Lingard and Dawson, but we need a lot more than just two players. We need about 5 or 6. I actually think. Well, I'll tell you what I think, Jazz, and then you can counter that. First of all, we need a striker. That's the main thing. That's like common sense, really. We need a striker. I think we need 2 midfield players. I think when you're relying on Souček and Rice all season, Noble to come in, I think sometimes you're pushing the boat out a bit too far, and we need cover in there, and we need cover of quality in there of the same, not same standard, but similar standard to Rice and Souček. Like, if we're going to do something, we're going to have players in there to do that. I think we need a goalkeeper. I think the goalkeeper issue. I think we're the only club that I've ever known in my lifetime to have so many injuries with goalkeepers, and I think we need a left back. I think Masuaku, people rave about him. I'm not a fan. I think he's been with us 6 years. He runs. That's all he does. He can't cross. His passing's terrible. He's got good feet. That's about it. And I would say we need about 5 or 6 players. What do you reckon, Jez?
The first thing is we're a club outside the top 4. You can't have everything that you need. No manager's going to get everything they need. So that's why I was saying 60 is decent. That'll bring in Lingard, Dawson, we'll bring in someone like Abraham, and then we'll be left with sort of 10 million. I know it's not a lot for a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You've got to go for some cheapy sort of backup players you're looking at, really. So we're not going to get 100 because it's just the way it is, you know. We're not going to get 100 million. So it's going to be David just making the most of it and trying to sort of say, what do we need more, really? So things like a backup centre midfielder might be a cheaper version. The goalkeeper, he might think, I can get one more season out of Fabianski. Let's get someone young in with a bit of promise. So I think the cheapies will be the backup players to Souček. The fullback and the goalkeeper will be the cheapies, mate. And then the real money will go into striker, Lingard. That's what it's going to happen, I think, in me. And that's still 6, but it's in terms of quality, maybe those backup, they might not be there.
Obviously, do you think it changes though, Jazz, if we do get European football of some sort? Do you think that budget changes? Do you think that budget's 60 million without European football? Or do you think that is 60 million with European football?
I think with European football, let's stick another 10 on. We'll get 70 max. We'll get another 10. We'll get another 10 maximum, but they're not going to back him up anymore. That 10 will come from receipt money and prize money just for being in there. So there won't be extra money. The owners will not put that out of their pocket. I think out of the pocket, they're probably putting in 20 out of this. I think the 40 years that we haven't spent anyway in the past and some of the wages we've saved. So I think the 10 will come from the next season's budget, like the next winter window, really. That'll come from the 10. So they'll get 70, I think, maximum.
Yeah.
That's the way it'll be.
Let me ask you a few positions, right? If you've got to pick a goalkeeper to sign, who would you sign?
It's difficult because we've spoken about Pope as our Phil Parkes iconic signing, isn't it? I know we really need a striker, but what a great thing that would have been. Brian Clough always used to say, when you build a team, you build it from the back, you know? Yeah. But then Malcolm Allison used to say, anyone with half a talent should never play in the back four. So all these people used to have interesting ways of saying things. But for me, if we went all out, which we won't, and got Pope in, whoa, what a statement that would be, you know, the way Everton, you know, he'll be our goalkeeper for the next 10 years and perhaps England's as well. We'll have England's number one goalkeeper, you know. So
what do you reckon?
It's Pope, innit? But I haven't thought about who realistically can come in a bit below that, to be fair. Like, I have to be fair, hands up, I haven't followed the Championship recently. Right. Perhaps there's someone in. I don't want that Sheffield United goalkeeper. I don't want him. Ramsdale. No, mate. No, I don't want him, mate. No.
Well, I'll tell you a few names off the top of my head. You got Johnson at West Brom, the goalkeeper, youngster. Yes or no? What do you think on him? You've got the Fulham goalkeeper, Areola.
Yeah.
Who's on loan from PSG. I think if Fulham go down, you sign him or you loan him. All right. This is what my ideal scenario would be, Jazz, if I was owning West Ham United at the minute. I would go out and I'd pay the money for Pope, because I think Pope saves you a lot of points. I'd sign Lingard and I'd sign Dawson, and then I would loan 2 players, a midfielder and a left back, and then that would be me happy there. Like, I think basically you get round it with a striker situation, because you've got players in that position who can sort of cover that position. Lingard can go striker, Bowen can go striker, Antonio can go striker. But if someone said to me right now, James, you've got a choice, right? What do you want to do? Go and get Nick Pope out of Burnley, because that money will be well spent, and basically he will save you points like in the season. What do you think of Henderson? Would you have Henderson at West Ham?
Before I say that, what value do you think they're going to put on Pope if they wanted 35, 38 million for Tarkowski, 28-year-old? Burnley are a bit of a hard team to negotiate with. Yeah.
But I think what it is the pool. I think it's going to be the pool of the Champions League or the Europa League that might pull it for us. And I actually think Spurs are looking at Pope now. They're looking at Pope as a replacement for Lloris.
I don't think they can afford. No, I don't think so. I think Tottenham have blown a lot of money, mate. And if he only blew it because he really believed in Mourinho's
Yeah.
Sort of what he told him in the interview and top four. They're not going to get top four. They're not going to get no money, Tottenham. Trust me, mate. He's not going to pull out any money when they're not in the top four.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a few things, really. I think the Winston Reid thing is like Winston Reid, Brentford. I can see that being a player plus cash deal. All right. I don't know why. It just seems too on the cards. We're linked with Tony. Winston Reid's at Brentford. I can see the end of the season saying, right, we'll give you Winston Reid, and we'll give you 10 million, 10, 15 million. And to me, that's a good bit of business. Winston Reid goes, he's been a good servant to the club.
Yeah. I like the Leeds goalkeeper. I like the Leeds goalkeeper, mate. I like him. I like the Leeds one. I like him.
But do you think it's an issue with him, though, Jas, that he concedes a lot of goals? I know it's Leeds, and I know Leeds are a sort of team that basically they're all out attack. There's no defence there. But, like, do you think he concedes a lot of goals? Like, sloppy goals? Like, the 2 goals he conceded against us back in December was both from headers. Bonner and Souček. Like,
I think he's raw. That's what I like about him. I think he's got something you can work on to get better. I think he showed good rawness. That's what I liked about him. He's not the finished article, and that's perhaps what we're going to have to risk. I don't think we've got the money to. Pope is a finished article, mate. You know, he's fucking there. You know, nothing phases
ready
the
to
guy.
go,
He's like a machine. He doesn't even have any poor games. He's there. You can grab crosses, distribution. Everything is there, you know. So we perhaps going to have to dip into somewhere that someone needs a bit of work on, I think. But I think they're going to ask for too much money. They're going to ask for a lot of money, mate. 50 million, I don't know. They're going to ask for a lot. That's all our budget gone. And if you remember, David wanted to blow the 30 million he had last time on one player, and he wouldn't let him. Sullivan went and talks for him. Yeah. And he goes, I'm mentioning no names, but our manager wants to play on one player. I'm not. I go, why do you keep mentioning player? Are you stupid or something? You know. So you got him in the background with his little finger, you know, always bloody interfering. So I don't think he'll let David, but he might do because he's young and he'd be thinking, there's a real sale value on Pope. And I don't know.
And I'll leave it on this one with you. Let's be like, if anyone's got any comments, chuck them in the comment section below, and we'll answer them before we wrap up. But do you think Lingard will sign for us at the end of the season?
Yeah.
You can see that sort of happening. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's a nice guy, and even though Leicester have come in and we might have him. I think he's a sound-headed, level-headed kid. I know it doesn't mean a lot. I know there's a couple of clubs he did decline to join us because of the David Moyes factor and other things like that. We're doing well, so I think we're in the pole position for that, mate. I just hope Sullivan doesn't F the deal up. That's the only thing that can jeopardise this. Him going in with a really stupid offer that annoys, that's the only thing that David tells him who to go and get, and he goes in and he F's the whole deals up. That's the problem.
But what he does, he lowballs it, doesn't he? He lowballs the deal. He goes in at a stupid fee. They look at it as an insult and go, you know what, go away. I ain't dealing with you no more because you're coming in with ridiculous bids, basically. Do you know what I mean? They want 20 million.
Well, if you remember the rumours on that last couple of days or the day we got him in was that the deal had collapsed because they wanted 1.5 million. He was giving them 1 million. I think, are you gonna let this collapse because of 500,000? So this is the type of things he does. And then United had to backtrack and said, all right, we'll take 1 million. Otherwise, I don't know. Would you have said, I'm not going to do it? I'm like, really stupid things, you know?
Yeah, it's the way they run it, mate. I'm sorry, but sometimes they run it like a freaking market stall. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to buy one get one free and things like that. It's just it's
an interesting question terrible. To you. We need a director of football, don't we? Even though I don't really like the concept of it because I'm traditional, but someone apart from him to do the transfer dealings and get in there, isn't it?
Well, funny you saying that. We've been linked with a man who does the director of football at Frankfurt. Some bloke up there. I'm not too sure. He's been linked with Man United, I think, or. I think he's been linked with Tottenham or Man United, one of the two, and with us. We need someone, mate. Like we can't keep going out. Like as I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Right, we can't keep going out and trying to find these diamonds in the rough because it might happen once or twice, but you can't keep doing it. Do you know what I mean? Unless you're incredibly lucky, you know what I mean. You just can't. It can't be done.
It's not even that. We can't have David Sullivan sending out emails to the owners and He shouldn't get involved in that money process. We need a director of football. He does all of it. You know, Sullivan tells him, this is the maximum I'm giving you, and just back off and leave it to us to get the deal over the line. You know, we don't want him in there, you know.
Yeah. It's this summer, to me, as a fan, and we're all fans here, and the 7 people watching at the minute, it's important this year that they go out and they show the ambition that what it means, because this team is not far away from being a really, really, really good team. Like, they're a good team now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But we will know at the end of the season where we're going to be, where we are. So yeah, there needs to be money spent, and in the right areas. I think central defence, we're laughing. Like Balbuena, someone said in the comments below previous that they're like Hammers Poles put it here, 15 million for Lanzini. It's time for Lanzini to go, isn't it?
Oh, I forgot about him, mate. Yeah, I mean, nothing personal, but I ain't got no time for him. Sorry. No.
Yeah.
You know, I've got no time for sentiment. Okay, brilliant in the past. Love you. But no time for sentiment and personal feelings. No, not good enough for us anymore, mate.
Yeah.
15 million. We ain't going to get 15 million for any of our players. You know that. We'll be lucky if we get 5 or 6 for anyone. We can't get rid of anyone. They're so bad, our players. We have to pay everyone off. Yamo's on 125k a week. Some question has come to my mind. Sorry, as we speak, all these things come to me. Would you swap Fornells for Ross Barkley? Or do you think they're really different type of players? I mean, you get that.
Barkley's more attack minded than he is defensive. Like when I look at Fornells, like I don't look at a number 10. I look at a central midfield player. Like to me, he's like a central midfield player. He plays like a central midfield player. He's got no pace, so he's not a winger. And to me, he just looks like if he was playing 4-4-2, he'd be in your central midfield. Like little whippersnapper, runs around, gets stuck in, good on the ball, passes the ball well. Might nick a goal from time to time, but that's about it. He don't really. Like when I look at Fornells in the team, he don't really go to me, you know what, I'm going to get excited every time he gets the ball. When I look at Bowen, Benrahma, Lingard, when they get the ball, I think, right, yeah, here we go, something's going to happen here. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah.
What about
Barkley,
Loftus-Cheek? What about Loftus-Cheek?
I like Loftus-Cheek. If someone said to me, would you sign Loftus-Cheek?
These players are available. They're available to sign, both of them.
Yeah.
Villa have said we're not going to go for Barkley permanently. Maybe his injuries are a concern, or his performances have waved down a little bit. Loftus-Cheek is a monster, isn't he? The only player, I think, Rice says I can't play against him. He does me every game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think he's an ideal player to come in if Souček and Rice get injured. I think he's ideal. I think he sits in that midfield well. He's box to box again, another one. He likes to play a bit further forward, but I think
he could come in for Fornells, couldn't he? He could replace Fornells then.
Yeah, he could come in there and then go forward that way. Sometimes he's a bit sloppy on the ball, like he gives the ball away a bit much, but other than that, I think he's a good player. There's a few Fulham players. If I was going through Fulham's team, I would take the goalkeeper. I would take Lookman. I think Lookman's a good player. He's on loan from Leipzig.
You would take Scott Parker, mate. I know you would.
Yeah, I actually would, mate. I think let's be honest here.
He's a good lad. He's a good lad. Yeah.
Let's be honest here. If Fulham stay up, it's because of Scott Parker effect.
I love Mitrovic. I have a long love affair with Mitrovic, even though he's not been involved a lot. I got time for him, mate. Yeah.
When I'm seeing the rumours coming out about Ramsdale, right? Oh, West Ham are going to go in for Ramsdale. When I saw that, I went on Twitter and I went, "No, don't be stupid." Yeah. Like he's been with 2 clubs now, and they've both been in relegation battles. Like he lost one with Bournemouth. He's going to lose this one with Sheffield United. I think they've left it too late. He's not good enough. Like, do you know what I mean? And they try and cut corners, West Ham. They always have.
Have you followed King? King, what's he been up to at Everton? I know he's come on a couple of times.
Nothing.
Goal disallowed. Nothing. Okay.
Done nothing. He's done nothing, mate. He's come on a few times, done nothing. Hasn't done a lot. He's been lucky to get like 10 minutes of it from what I've seen. But yeah. There's a few players really, like even there's a couple of players at West Brom that look half decent. Like That Pereira looks quite
Pereira's good, isn't he? Yeah, he stands out,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
yeah, he stands out in that team all day long. Obviously, the goalkeeper's decent there. But yeah, but you know what? Even up in Newcastle, if Newcastle go down, their goalkeeper's not too bad. I think it's Darlow. Carl Darlow. Yeah, he's a good goalkeeper. And they've got the other, is it Debrakka? He's a good.
He's all right as well. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's not in the team. Yeah.
But Newcastle got a couple of little players in there, but just got a bad sort of team morale. But it'd be interesting to see what we do in the summer. We need to do something.
No one picked up Cantwell in the summer. I was surprised. No one went for him, isn't it, Cantwell?
Do you know what? You saying about Norwich? I would go to Norwich and I would go and get Max Aarons. I think he's a great player. Left back.
I need to watch him. Yeah.
How he's still at Norwich, I don't know. Whether he's running his contract down or something, I've got no idea. But he's definitely a player that I would. If we signed him at left back, that's one for the future, and that's one who's not just for the future, but he's ready now. I'd have him all day long.
I don't like the one Newcastle signed from him. I don't like the one Liverpool Klopp wanted him as well.
Yeah, Lewis. Yeah, Lewis. He hasn't done anything, mate. If I'm honest,
Danny Ings is going to be available, mate, in the summer. He's going to be available. But he's not been on it last 7-8 games. I don't know what's up with him.
The only thing with Danny Ings that I will say on that, right, is he's injury prone.
Yeah,
right, he loves an injury. He's a great player. He's a great player. And if we signed him up, yeah, it's great. But is it another Antonio again? We sign him up, but he's only going to get 15, 18 games a season. You know,
another controversial. I love Zaha. You know that. I hate him and I love him. But on my team, I would love him, Zaha. But he's 28 now. I think 27, 28, and he wants out. But they're going to want a lot of money, aren't they? We missed out on Eze, and from what I've heard is because of Sullivan, we missed out on Eze. David Moyes wanted him really early in the window, and he just dillied and dallied and wanted a long instalment plan, and we lost out on him. Yeah, he looks good.
I think but it's the old cliche though, Jazz, isn't it? If you pay the money, they will come. And West Ham have got to start putting their hand in their pocket and paying the money. I think for these players, if you want a ready-made goal. Yeah, if you want a ready-made goalkeeper, you have to pay 40 million. If Burnley want 40 million, go and get Pope out of there because he's only young. I'm not sure how old he is. I think he's in his 20s. And
you're right.
You've got to pay the dough, haven't you? So yeah, to me, that is it's going to be massive in the summer. But
I used to like Slimani of Leicester. No one liked him because I got really good contacts in Portugal. He used to tell me when he first came. And he never got on sort of a game, and we didn't go for him on loan. Good target man, mate. Slimani, Algerian, good player.
Yeah. See, before we wrap it up, when you were saying about Abraham, but Abraham's like a target man, isn't he? He's not really exactly it doesn't make no sense. You go and get rid of Haller. I know Haller was hit and miss with a lot of fan base, but Haller and Abraham are pretty much in the same in what they do. They're, I mean, obviously Abraham's a bit more younger and a bit more athletic, runs a bit more, but other than that, they're pretty much the same.
You say other than that, that's a big thing though. Athletic and running.
Yeah,
Haller didn't do it, you know. And I think he's a raw talent. That's how we get them cheaper at West Ham, isn't he? We can work on him. I think. He's not so clever at the moment. He doesn't know how to make the runs at the moment. But there's something in there that we could. You know, John Hartson came from Arsenal. He's a bit raw. Kitson, we made him a bit 10-15% better. That made a big difference. I think you need to get a player you can work on. And with Haller, you bang your head on the wall, don't you, a few times, and nothing works. Happens in life. Same with Anderson. I loved that kid when he came. I really loved him. Thought he was a West Ham type of player, but it just didn't work out, mate. Sometimes it just happens, and I just think Abraham. I mean, every signing is a risk. Between you and me, I think David Moyes, he's strict on criteria and what he wants, so maybe he doesn't want a certain type of player. But I think there's something there that we can work with. I think.
But we will see, Jazz. We will see. Right. Let's wrap this up. Thanks for joining us today on Matchday Mornings. It's been good. Jazz, you take care of yourself. Have a good week. And hopefully Monday night, we are celebrating 3 lovely points against the West Yorkshire Leeds. And thanks for everyone for watching. Take care and have a good weekend.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.